I've been playing Wallachia, Reign of Dracula on my Nintendo Switch, and I gotta say I really enjoyed this game. It's a old school 2D action game, a little bit of platforming, but really it's all about the action. It's very much based on games like Castlevania, with sort of similar sort of theme. You've got one hero or heroine in this case going up against hordes of enemies to eventually take down bosses on levels and eventually kind of beat the final boss. I gotta say, the story-wise, I wasn't that sold on it. I just kind of thought it just felt a little bit like background, to be honest, for me. There are some kind of cutscenes between levels and some exposition, but you know, I just wasn't very interested in that, to be honest. What I really liked about the game was the gameplay itself. So you play as a female heroine called Elsin, and she uses a bow and arrow, and she can shoot in 8 different directions. You pick up, she's also got a sword, so if enemies come close, she can slice them with a sword. And so as you progress in these levels, you kill enemies, you can pick up new upgrades for your bow and your sword. You can also use 4 different kind of spirit powers. So one of them is a wolf that runs across the screen and damages all enemies. So through the level, you'll pick up these orbs, and as you collect enough orbs, you can then use one of these special abilities. Now, this is a really tough game. It's tough because you have 3 lives. It's an old school type game where you have 3 lives, and once they run out, you start back at the beginning of the level, which makes it really tough. So each level is split up into sort of various areas. And so if you get to area 2 and you die in area 2, then you start back at the beginning of area 2, which makes sense. But if you lose all your continues, you go back to area 1 at the very beginning. Now, you could do pretty well for areas, say area 1, 2, collect lots of orbs, collect lots of upgrades, but then when if you die in area 3, for example, and start back there, you lose all your orbs and upgrade, which makes it really tough. So you suddenly lose, you potentially can't even use one of your special abilities, which makes especially boss battles really hard. When you get to a boss battle, those special abilities are very, very useful. You can still beat bosses without them, but well, actually, I couldn't beat any bosses without them. They were pretty much essential to me beating them. And so it really, once you have to almost get through the entire level in one life and be able to fight the boss and beat them, to be able to kind of stand a good chance of doing that and keep all your upgrades and also keep your orbs in order to use your special abilities. And so to do that, it takes a lot of time, a lot of practice, really learning and understanding the level. And that's where kind of the time goes in this game. Each level is not actually that long to beat. Like the first level is probably just about 3 or 4 minutes worth of time, but getting to the point where you can beat the level, that will take you like a good half an hour, maybe more per level. So that's where kind of it's that element of retrying and retrying. It is very old school, so once those 3 lives are gone, it is frustrating to start back at the beginning of the level and have to do it all again. You know, you progress and get better at the level as you learn those areas and learn the enemies. You do end up kind of going through, not taking any damage and doing really well. But to get there takes a lot of time and can be frustrating when you get to the boss and then die and have to start all the way over from the beginning. Luckily, you don't have to start from the beginning of the game, so, you know, when I used to play Castlevania 1 on my NES, once you die and lose those lives, even if you're on, like, the 5th stage, you go back to the beginning of the game. Here, you can start at any of the levels you've opened up, which is really good. So, you know, you die, but you can start back at, level 4 again if you manage to unlock that level. So that's a good thing. I have really enjoyed this game. The gameplay is really good. It is very much an old school game, and I just have a good time with it. It's a tough game. It can be frustrating, but then it can be rewarding as well. It's that sense of accomplishment when you actually beat a level, and just like sense of relief almost from being able to beat one of these bosses that you've been playing on a level for like 45 minutes and finally managed to do it. I love the pixel graphics, the old school graphics. It's a nice variety of enemies. It is very tough at times. There will be frustrations when you encounter new random enemies and get to a new stage and you just end up dying very easily. But I find it really rewarding and just a really fun game. The controls are very easy to use and get to grips with. If you're familiar with any kind of old school 2D gaming, then you'll be absolutely fine. It played really well, and I actually found I enjoyed the gameplay so much in this game. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this short review of Wallachia. Let me know, are you planning to pick up this game, or have you picked it up? What did you think of it? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.